Hello and welcome to youtube.com/NDTV. It has been undoubtedly a very busy day, a hectic morning, and in the middle of all of that, thank you. You've given us your votes for what you think the big story of the day should be or is, what you think the story we should be focusing on, and I'm glad to see we are in agreement. You voted that the Maharashtra battle in the Supreme Court today, 74% of you voted picked that story for what you want us to follow today on NDTV, and yes, that is the story we are leading with right now. Second, you voted for the Maharashtra MLAs being safe in hotels. A huge dip, but 3% of you have voted for that story. Of course, the economy being on a low. The auto sector running on low fuel, but at least the hotel industry seems to be doing very well, at least going by what we've seen in Karnataka and now what we're seeing in Maharashtra over the past week. Hotels filled to the brim. People on Twitter are posting amusing tweets on how it's impossible to get a hotel room unless you are an MLA in Maharashtra right now. And then 7% of you have voted for the stubble burning crisis. The chief secretary is in the top court today, and yes, I can tell you we at NDTV are not taking our eyes off that ball. Despite everything that's going on, all the machinations going on in Maharashtra, the ongoing crisis continues to be the fight we are losing, the battle we are losing to pollution. And today, chief secretaries of 4 states, Punjab, Haryana, UP and Delhi, have to present themselves before the court, because remember, the court passed an order. The Supreme Court passed an order that stubble burning should stop. But despite that, despite the top court's order, stubble burning continues unabated. 11% of you voted for about the fear of layoffs in the IT sector. We saw a techie committing suicide. We focused on that again on the breakfast show this morning. Umar Sudhir spoke with many of these techies about the problems they face on the ground. What exactly led this young techie to commit suicide? This also coming even as Cognizant has announced many more layoffs. So a difficult time really for many young people. Unemployment at an all-time high. The economy going through a very tough time. Yet, despite all of that, our politicians in Maharashtra continue their blame game, continue their selfish battles, looking out for themselves, aligning with partners that they are ideologically completely at opposite ends of the spectrum. And guess who's left with looking like a loser? Really, it is the voter, it is the taxpayer who is funding all of these MLAs being put up at these 5-star hotels right now as we speak in Maharashtra. But in the end, it was a bit of an anticlimactic moment in the Supreme Court today. There's not going to be a floor test for now. There has been some respite for the Chief Minister, Devendra Fadnavis. He gets another day of respite for the Devendra Fadnavis government. The Chief Minister, Devendra Fadnavis, who is working with a man he has tirelessly attacked on charges of corruption. That very same man, Ajit Pawar, is now his deputy chief minister. They both were sworn in this hush-hush ceremony at 7:30 a.m. in the morning. Of course, many are wondering how come only Maharashtra. In Maharashtra, do the governments work late at night? Trees are cut under the cover of darkness, and early morning swearing-in ceremonies take place also. So they really do work quite hard, it seems. But anticlimactic at the Supreme Court. We all started off with full coverage. All eyes on the Supreme Court, which had asked for those 2 crucial pieces of documentation. One, the letter that had been sent from the governor to Devendra Fadnavis and his deputy chief minister, inviting them to come and be sworn in because they have the majority. And 2, the letters that Ajit Pawar and Devendra Fadnavis provided, put before the governor, which they say shows that they had the majority and could form a government. So the Supreme Court asked for both of those pieces of crucial documentation to be brought to them, and that did take place early this morning, 10:30 a.m. sharp. And after hearing all sides, the Supreme Court then decided it is going to hold on to its verdict. It will now be announcing its verdict tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. So we are back to square one. Tomorrow morning, we will be back here at the same time telling you what the court has decided, if and when there is to be a floor test. Now, many have gone by the precedent that the Supreme Court has set in such cases. When it came to the Karnataka Assembly case, the Supreme Court then did the same. It asked then the Yediyurappa government to provide the paperwork that they had shown to the governor that they claim proved that Yediyurappa had the majority. And when that letter was actually produced before the Supreme Court, it was found that it didn't have the signatures of the MLAs that Yediyurappa claimed were supporting him. The court then ordered a floor test immediately, and Yediyurappa lost that floor test. But this is certainly taking longer than that case did. The Supreme Court hearing all sides today in a bit of a conundrum, theatre of the absurd. All of the sides claimed to have the support and to have the numbers, and claimed they were confident that they would win if a floor test is called, even if it's at the soonest. But the court, in all its wisdom, has decided that there is not going to be a decision on a floor test right now, certainly not today. They will take that call tomorrow when they meet again at 10:30 a.m. So we'll be back here tomorrow morning to focus on that. Meanwhile, the people of Maharashtra have just seen a cruel joke played on them over the past 1 month, even as you see the economy doing badly. You've seen trees being cut over the last month, but our politicians continue to look out for themselves only. And meanwhile, all of the MLAs in Maharashtra continue to have, they've enjoyed a weekend in 5-star hotels, and they will continue to stay there for another day, if not tomorrow also, as we wait on tenterhooks, waiting to see when the court will decide about a floor test, and only then will we actually know whether Devendra Fadnavis does have the majority, because as of now, the NCP was claiming today they have the numbers. They have at least 53 MLAs, and they physically do have the MLAs, but the point is what the MLAs or who the MLAs say they're going to vote for right now or today may not necessarily be how they vote on the floor of the House. And really, in the end, that is all that matters. So it is a waiting game, unfortunately, for us all. But thank you for sending us your votes, and we'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye-bye.